How you doing today, YouTube? It's your boy, the Comic Asian Collector, back at you with another video. This is not a pickups video. This video is going to be more about me discussing some games that I think that you should really play for the PlayStation 2. At least if you never have played these, or if you've heard about playing these games, and I think that you should take the time and play them because you'll very much enjoy them. And with that being said, I want to give a shout out to a lot of people that's doing their YouTube thing. I know a lot of people are progressing, and I'm very proud of certain people in the YouTube community. And I just want to say that. With that being said, enjoy your videos. I like them and I share them. So let me just get straight into this video. The first thing I'm going to do and I'm going to discuss is going to be some RPGs for the PlayStation 2 that you should really play that are very good. The first one's going to be Way of the Samurai Part 1 and Way of the Samurai Part 2. These are games that are like choose your own adventure games before they had Mass Effect, before they had like the Elder Scrolls series games and things like that, where you get to make your own adventure and create your own adventure. These games came out and they have a lot of variety and different choice. They have multiple endings, about 16 or 17, depending on the way you play through. The game can end at any given time, and the choices that you make really do impact the story. There's betrayal, there's friendship that you could build along the way, and these are some of the best RPGs that you could play for the PlayStation 2, and I highly recommend them. Way of the Samurai Part 1 and 2. This series right here, I have not beaten these games, but I've gotten into them, and they're very long games, and they're very dialogue orientated games, and you have to do a lot of grinding, but not enough grinding to where it becomes tedious and you don't enjoy playing the game. And the story is very, very good, very in depth, a lot of character development, and a lot of friendships that you build along the way, and that's going to be Persona 3, the FPS edition. The reason why I say the FPS edition is because it comes with about 25 to 30 extra hours of gameplay, and it comes with a prologue to the story of what happened before Persona 3, and the next one is going to be Persona 4. I combine these together and put them together as one because they're basically the same game, but they're just different storyline and different character developments. This one has a whole bunch of different things that this one doesn't. Like this one, you could choose how you play with your party members and you get to control them all. And at the same time, this one has a more darker theme and a more adult orientated theme, but you only get to play as your protagonist that you play as, and you go through the story. And basically, when you get into the battle system, you can only play as your one main character, and the computer automatically chooses when your AI opponents, I mean, not your AI opponents, your AI companions, and it makes them battle and it makes them choose their options. I highly recommend these games. They're long games, but if you enjoy role playing games for the PlayStation 2, I highly recommend these. Another game that took me by storm and surprised me. I was about 40 hours, I was saying 30, 40 hours into the game, and then I ran out of potions and I got stuck at a boss and I could not progress any further in the story. But I loved it, and I do go back and I do play it, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna finish it. And it's one of the best RPGs for the PlayStation 2. And a lot of people overlook this game because a lot of people really have not heard of it, and those that have heard of it, basically it's similar to the Star Ocean series, but at the same time it has its own mechanics and its own storyline. I wish they would come out with sequels to this and come out with different stories to this. And if they do, then I don't know about them, like if they did in Japan or in other different regions. But that's gonna be Rogue Galaxy. Rogue Galaxy is one of the best RPGs. The system basically is when you get into combat, you get to control your characters, basically like Devil May Cry slash, how can I say, Dynasty Wars type of combat, but it's also an RPG with very in-depth story. And the shell shady graphics and the worlds that you see in this game and the characters that you meet along the way, highly recommend this game. With that being said, I'm gonna get into another game. They got one of my homeboys, Tech Game Team. He likes a lot of these type of games like Smash Brothers, and then there's another game that he plays a lot on his channel, and you should check him out. And he's very good at it. But this game right here, I highly suggest that you try this game too. And a lot of people overlook this as well. It was created and developed by the same people that made Smash Brothers. It's just Ubisoft basically hired on that staff and that development, and then they made this game. And that's gonna be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Smash Up. Highly recommend this game. It's very fun. It's just like Smash Bros, but it's just with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters. A lot of unlockables, great storyline to it, and it does come with a lot of gameplay and a lot of replay value. You can have up to 4 players fighting different types of levels, the same type of environments. They shift and they change throughout the course of your battling. I highly recommend Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Smash Up. You can get this from around 26 between 26 $30 for the Wii, and you can get it for about 10 $15 for the PlayStation 2. Either way it goes, whatever version you decide to get, it's a great game. Another game that I believe is very underrated when it comes to the PlayStation 2, but one of the best shooters that I've ever played. And it's one of my favorite games for the PlayStation 2, and it's very gory, adult themed, and it's one of my favorite superheroes, and that's gonna be the Punisher. The Punisher is a great game. The melee combat, the things that he can do, all the different weapons, the gore, the adult themes in this game, the different outfits, guns that he unlocks, the different levels you can replay through with previous guns. It just has a lot of replay value, and the torture scenes and the interrogation scenes on here are very, very good. I highly recommend that you get this game if you like shooters and third-person action games. The Punisher, it's a very, very underrated game for PlayStation 2. These next couple of games right here, um, two of them come in a series. Actually, they're all part of one big series, and this is when the series is going strong. But I'm gonna show them each individually. But at the same time, I'm just gonna try to put them all together because I can't hold all three games. 'Cause I only got two hands. So I'm gonna start off with the first two, and we're gonna get into survival horror. If you like the Resident Evil series, I highly recommend that you get these games. These to me were the last classic Resident Evil games that came out. The only thing that I dislike about them is the loading times. They're very, very long. I mean, about 10, 20 seconds every time you enter or go out of a room. But other than that, the gameplay is very solid. It does have the fixed camera angles, the same mechanics as Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3. And actually, it takes place or spans across these three different scenarios. Not specifically three scenarios, but the three storylines of the first three Resident Evil games, and it basically gives you 8 different survivors you get to choose from, and that's going to be Resident Evil File Number 1 and Resident Evil File Number 2. I highly recommend you play these games if you like survival horror and you're a Resident Evil fan. Like I said before, to me these were the last Resident Evil games that they made that had that classic feeling to them. Even though they do have tank controls, but the interface, the user friendly, the items that you could pick up, it basically is the same feel as Resident Evil, and I highly recommend this. If you get the Japanese versions, they still do have servers, so you can get the Japanese version for the PlayStation 2, and then there's a way that you can link it through your CPU, your computer, and you can play it online still to this day. I see a lot of people on Twitch playing it, but I highly recommend these games, and they're some of the best Resident Evils I've played. And basically, they're becoming sought after now, and a lot of people don't think that they're very rare or underrated, but they are. Just dropped all the games. And another game that I believe was the last Resident Evil when it came to the storyline, and the same thing like I referred to the other ones, like with the controls and the isometric camera view, and it came out for the Sega Dreamcast as well as PlayStation 2, and that's going to be Resident Evil Code Veronica X. This follows Claire, and then halfway through the game it switches up, and you can become Chris. The storyline is very great, very solid controls. Same thing, items, all the classic Resident Evil things that you like, and all the classic gameplay. Code Veronica, and I highly recommend you get this. I believe the one for the Sega Dreamcast is Code Veronica, but this one's Code Veronica X. And the last game that I'm going to talk about, like I said in my previous video, is one of my favorite PlayStation 2 horror survivor series for the PlayStation 2, and it's very difficult, and it does have clunky controls, and it doesn't have the best graphics, but once you give it a chance and you get into it, it's very, very rewarding. And that's going to be Siren Blood Curse. No, I'm sorry, just Siren. Siren Blood Curse is, I believe, the PlayStation 3 version, or it could be the PlayStation 2 version. They have three of them out. They have one that came out in America, they have one that came out in Japan. Part 1 and 2 came out in Japan, and Part 1 and 3 came out in America. It's all confusing. But Siren Blood Curse, it's an action. Nah, I keep saying Blood Curse. Siren, it's an action survival horror game similar to Resident Evil. The only difference is you have a third person view and you switch between different characters and scenarios in different times throughout the day, and it shows you different things. So in one mission, you might have to complete an objective, and that objective will affect the next mission, and so forth. And if you don't do that, then you might not even be able to progress in the game. But it does get tedious because you do have to replay a lot of different missions in order to find different things to discover. But if you give it a chance, to me, like I said before, it's my favorite survival horror game, and it's the best for the PlayStation 2. But that's my opinion, like I said before. Resident Evil is a big major franchise, and basically it overshadowed this. But when it comes to this, compared to Clock Tower, Haunting Ground, I believe, or Rule of Rolls, and different games like that, I believe that a lot of people overlook this game, and it's a very underrated gem. Dropped it again. I would like to give a shout out to Tech Game Team. He's doing a lot of good things, doing a lot of positive things in this YouTube community, and he started uploading videos again. And every time he uploads a different video, he's always making progress and he's always moving forward. There's other people that I want to give a shout out to that I'll do in my next video. But I just wanted to give you guys some recommended PlayStation 2 games, part 1 of what you should play for your system. I have different videos like this coming out, but Like I said before, have a good day, and it's your boy the CRC coming at you with another video game, comic book related topic discussion, basically. But I'm gonna have some comics too, and I know a lot of people is waiting for my comic book hauls to come out, and trust me, I do have that. I've been doing a lot of different things. So thank you for your patience, and I wish you all a blessed day, and may you guys have a wonderful time. Thank you.